Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to the Cool Kids Lunch Table Podcast with PJ and Mike. Now find yourself a seat at their table.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Cool Kids Lunch Table Podcast with PJ and Mike. I'm PJ.
And I'm Mike.
And we have some returning guests with us. You'll remember them from our Godzilla episode. Marco and Alex are here. If you remember last time we spoke about Marco, we said he was on a journey to rekindle all of his toys. And Alex brought his collection of adult toys to possibly sell to Marco right here on today's episode. So we'll jump right into our childhood memory. These are obviously, we're talking about retro and nostalgic toys from our childhood. So our childhood memory to talk about today is what was our favorite toy growing up. Yeah. Marco, why don't you go first?
All right, so many, right? I mean, I have to say, like, 80s, 90s, maybe because we were kids, but I think they had the best, right? So you want to talk action figures? You want to talk board games? You want to talk Nintendo?
Oh, that was the peak of toys. The peak of toys, without a doubt.
So I could look back at different times in my life as a kid, and we'll get into backstory later, but stupid things like Crossfire. Remember the Crossfire?
Oh, yeah, I think I saw that one.
Because the song was the best.
Crossfire!
And then, so you have that, Nintendo, obviously, right? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, hands down.
Yep.
Ghostbusters, hands down. And then this, and weird things like Starcom. Anybody remember Starcom?
Yeah.
Right? The little, just like out of the blue things like that. I wasn't big into, He-Man. You have to have He-Man.
Love
right?
He-Man.
There's He-Man everywhere.
By the power of Grayskull.
Yeah, so He-Man was huge. I wasn't really big into the G.I. Joe because I feel like I was more Starcom and Mask. Was that Mask?
Yep.
Was Mask and
Yeah.
all those kind of things. But if you want to say favorite, hands down, it would be the Turtles for me. It was Turtles 24/7 all the time, nonstop for years. Years. I mean, they must have come out with 20 variations every few weeks.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was just, that was it. That was for me. It has to be the Turtles.
What about you, Alex?
It's easy to say Turtles because you grew up loving the Turtles, and it wasn't just the variations of the Turtles that they made, but they would create. If you ever watch a documentary, like the show was made to sell toys.
Yeah,
they did a really good job with that because
Perfect.
they would come up with a really cool villain, and then you wanted to get the toy version of that villain. And I remember seeing some of the villains being like, "I want that guy," even though I knew nothing about the backstory.
Yeah.
He just looked really cool. Just to be different, one of the toys I had for a long time that I actually, gave it to someone else when I was way too old to still have it was, I don't know if you guys remember, there was it was very hard to find Godzilla toys, but there was one that was about at least a foot tall and had the big, like the silver chest and I had that forever. That was always went with me. That was one of my biggest toys. I always had to
Teddy Ruxpin.
Yeah, Teddy Ruxpin. Yeah, Godzilla.
Of course.
Right.
I eventually dated someone who I got into Godzilla, and he took the toy. Obviously when we broke up, I wasn't going to keep it, so I just was like, yeah, whatever, just keep it. But outside of Ninja Turtles, I would say if I had to think of a favorite childhood toy, I play with that thing all the time.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I'll probably talk about this toy more later, but like Power Rangers, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Those are beautiful toys and everything. But this is make it more sentimental. I'll go different. You guys remember this toy? It's really more of a stuffed animal. It's called Jibber Jabber.
Yes.
It was I still have him. He's broke. My dad actually broke it a few years ago. I still have him. But anyway, he's like this long figure, he's almost like a human, like a cartoon version. He had almost like a mohawk, blue. He had a blue tie or different colored. But anyway, when you would shake their head, they would go they would go to like a black part. They hand out those tubes that make noise right. So anyway, the toy was supposed to be strangling him. His neck, so they had to discontinue because it was not healthy for It was actually for adults, but it blew up for kids. But I love that toy. I think it's when I was kid, I always wished he was alive. I remember I got him for my birthday, and and I think some movie like Toy Story I really connected with as a kid. I was like, oh my god, I know how they feel because you really wish your toys were alive. And I always wished he could be kind of like the movie Ted. I wish he could become my real friend. So
I liked anything with a play set because if you could get the action figure, but you want to put them in the world. So like you said, the Ghostbusters. I had the Ghostbusters Firehouse.
Yep.
I love the Ghostbusters Firehouse.
I still got mine.
Do you really?
Don't ever get rid of it. It's worth so much
It's like
money.
in perfect condition, not broken.
Yeah.
Everything.
Do you
That's
really?
yeah.
Yeah.
That thing is, it was so much fun. It had the pole.
Yeah.
It had the containment unit.
Yeah.
And you could like have a world that, you know, you get the car, you could park the car in the garage, and then you have a world that you can play with your toys with. You're not just on the floor. You're you're in your own story. Or the same thing with the Ninja Turtles, because they had the sewer set.
And the Technodome.
And the Technodome, exactly.
Sewer set
So
was
I
a hard
really
find.
appreciated things that had a toy. That had a play set. I had one play set that is very random, but was one of my favorites. Was the Police Academy?
Wow!
Yes, the Police Academy.
You got me there. I was not expecting that.
I used to love the movies of Police Academy, but I really liked the cartoon of Police Academy. And the play set was the prison, was the police house, and they had a jail cell. It had like all these goofy little traps and shit in it because it was a goofy cartoon. And I used that. The reason that's one of my favorite toys, it was so versatile, because if I'm playing Batman, I need
to put them in jail.
they go to prison,
Right.
and it's the Police Academy playhouse. But sometimes it's like it's Arkham, or it's just a regular prison. Or if you're playing with anything else, you need a place to put the bad guy.
So let me ask you this: did you actually sit there and play?
Yes.
Or did you just set them up?
No, I played.
no.
I played.
I wasn't never like. I would
played.
set them up.
Oh, I'd display it. Right,
Not a display, but like when I would play with my toys, my thing would be I'm just gonna set them up like in a scene. Like
Yes.
I'll take my play set and I'll put the guys here,
Right.
here.
Yeah.
And then I'll be done.
No, I
You know,
played.
it
There
was never like
No, I had
Yeah,
all
yeah.
storylines. I
Yeah.
had
Full
all
story.
I always had.
You brought
Dude,
toys from other
crossovers?
universes.
Oh,
that,
yeah.
They come help out the
Crossovers.
guy.
There'd be like crossovers, like
Yeah.
the Power Rangers would like cross over with
The Turtles.
with the Turtles all the
No.
time, or you'd have like the Turtles cross over with the Ghostbusters, and the Ghostbusters think the Turtles are
Yeah.
some sort of ghost. Then they have to work together to fight. Oh,
I did a lot of
Shit.
stop motion. I
Yeah?
actually had an old
Oh.
camera, and I would do, and I have the
Oh,
tape
that's awesome.
somewhere, and it was just like
yeah.
stupid shit. You
And
know,
he was
the guy
being,
walking
he was
around,
being
but
like smart creative.
I was
Oh,
just
right.
that was my big thing. I took a lot of the turtles, like that sumo turtle. I'll never forget
Right.
that big sumo turtle.
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
I'd have him
Crash?
doing.
Or you talking about
Slash.
Toka or
Slash.
No,
Slash.
like he was like I'll look him up. I don't know his name, but anyway, he
It was
was
like
he wasn't
the
a turtle,
robot
but
one?
he was.
Is it-
No, he was
oh.
just like a big.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, I had him just moving around doing stuff,
Yeah,
and
that's
coming to
great.
other people's. It was all stop.
No,
motion
I had
type.
full on storylines.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually had the Ghostbusters playset, and the funny story is, me and my brothers, the three of us used to share a room, and for whatever reason, my dad came in pissed off because we did something, and somehow and we all were
Yeah.
able to come up with the story to make it look like so no one got in trouble, and he was so mad, but he didn't know who to
Right.
yell at or whatever, so he took his frustration out on the playset, kicked it,
Oh,
and
no.
stormed out of the room, and the thing just fell into
No.
pieces. Yeah. Not that we would have ever kept it where we could have made money off of it, but
It's worth so much.
Yeah.
Do you
money.
remember
I know.
with a lot of places, especially in the '90s, everything was with slime or goo.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
fire that
Yes.
goes came with that
That's
glue
right,
it
into, like
did.
the
Yeah.
ceiling. And
Yeah.
I actually
Forgot about
I
that.
remember not really liking. I remember when I used it one time, I was like, no,
No, never again.
I didn't want to
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
I remember not touching it. I hate that. Like I hate anything sticky and like.
And that was like a thing, right? I'm sorry. That was like
Yeah.
a thing. Like you had the toys, then you had Nickelodeon,
Yeah.
slime everywhere, and
Yeah.
then it stopped, and now slime's back. And
Yes.
I have two kids.
I
it's
won't
all, like,
fuck
fucking-
with slime, and I'll
Right.
tell you
Oh.
why. And you all understand this.
The
Right.
beard. You've had the beard
I've had
forever.
the beard
didn't you?
forever. My mother
Oh.
is the cleanest human being on the planet, and I would be terrified that I would get Play-Doh
Yeah.
or slime on the carpet.
Yeah, done.
Right.
And then you're done. And
Right.
I live in fear of that. So I
Right.
would never play with the slime that came with the Ghostbusters. Because if that would have got on something like,
Yeah.
no. That shit stayed in the box, sealed. There was no
Yes.
slime in our house.
No.
Yeah.
Well, they had them all in the little
In the little cases.
little cases. Yeah,
Yep.
they're impossible to find now.
Oh,
Impossible.
forget it. They're
And
probably
the
like
They're probably all dried up.
they're probably like rock
Even
solid.
still, people want like hundreds and hundreds of dollars for the plastic.
They think they held it.
containment
Yeah.
unit, whatever it is. It's insane.
It's probably like the inside of a dirty sock if you get it now.
But Marco,
Yeah.
I'm really curious about your journey of.
All right.
So tell us about your. So you're basically like recollecting. Is that fair to
I'm
say?
recollect. Absolutely right.
Oh,
So
yeah.
here's what happened. Here's how it goes. Right. So nothing better than the '90s.
Right.
Late '80s. Right. Always been the best thing. So I had just about everything going up. I was very fortunate. Right. This was my
Yes.
thing. My
Oh,
parents,
yes.
honestly, like that was my go-to. What they didn't get me, I saved my lunch money for. And on Friday nights, I'd go to the comic book store and buy it. Right?
Right.
So I was pretty good with that. And then I have 2 brothers. One's 4 years younger, so he was collecting. But he wouldn't want anything that I wanted. So if I got Marvel, he got DC, right? If I got Turtles, he got Ghostbusters. So I was able to like have double the amount of toys. So this was fucking awesome, right? And then we moved. So we moved. I was in Bayside. We moved to Flushing, not far, but far enough that it was too far to actually hang out after school with my friends, right? Because I didn't drive. My mom didn't drive. I lived here. It was 20, 25 minutes away. So I went home and hung out with my brother, and we fucking just played these toys.
Yeah.
So you would talk about core memories, right? All these toys, right? So fast forward, parents get divorced. My dad's name is Marco. My name is Marco. My mom, in a fit of rage one day, threw out every box that was labeled Marco.
No.
Yeah. So everything. And, like when I say everything, not a toy is left. So and I had stuff saved because it was my stuff. It was my stuff, right? All gone, just all gone.
Oh my God.
So I tell that story because it's just been like, so now I have 2 daughters, now they're 16 and 13, and I have bins upon bins upon bins upon bins of toys that they played with that are nothing in my attic. Like, never getting touched, they're just going to be there for when they get older. So fast forward, right, I get my own house, I'm like, I want a room with, put all my shit on display.
Yeah.
Never happens. Finally get the basement, redo the basement, I'm going to put shit on display. I don't have anything to put on display.
Right.
Like nothing.
Right.
So I'm like, you know what? So we work remote. So now I have an office at home. I'm like, I'm going to get a shelf dedicated, just a couple of things that remind me of my childhood, right? Just a couple. Like maybe 1 or 2 Turtles, 1 or 2 Ghostbusters. And that led to like the entire Ghostbusters series. And that led to like, I got to get this, got to get that, got to get that. So I started little by little rebuying the toys that I remember the most from my childhood, right? But as I'm doing that, I'm getting toys that my brother had because, hey, I played with them. And then I have another brother who's 13 years younger than me, but he was more the Power Rangers, Darkwing Duck, like, what were the stupid farm animals? If you guys
like
remember.
the Little Tykes and all those
No, like the Backyard Commandos.
Yeah, I know
you
you're
guys
talking about.
So I brought some just so I
Wasn't
started.
it like the cows and Moo Mesa?
Hold on.
Like the sheep who dressed as Rambo.
Yeah.
Hold up. Yeah, that's exactly.
I totally forgot about those guys.
Right.
Marco brought the toys
I've got
in.
some
Hey.
here. But right, so like as you go and you're looking at things, you're like, fuck, I remember that. I gotta get one of those, So my little collection of one shelf is now it's like 3 shelves.
Yes.
And it's just growing and growing and growing. And I'm not going out looking to drop like $500 at a time. I'll get here and there, just to because I enjoy it now. It's like my thing. Like I want to get out once a week, twice a week. I'll go drive around, see what I can find. But it's growing and it's growing. And
So is there like a goal? Like you want to complete like goal of the Darkwing Duck? Is that like a thing? Is like you want to like complete? Are you
that's
completist?
that's exactly
Okay.
basically it.
Got it.
I wanted to get just like so. What was the other one I started with? I have to come around to. I just blanked out. But yeah, Darkwing Duck's one of them, right? So I have just about all of them except for 1 or 2. Steelbeak. I gotta get Steelbeak. That's the one I'm looking for. Like stupid things like that, right? But I'm not to the point where I'm like, it's $20. I can wait. I can wait
Yes.
till it's like $15, $10, whatever. I don't want to go broke on toys. But no, I have a pretty good collection now. I'll show pictures. I'll send pictures around a little bit. But one of the funny stories is this past Christmas, my mom comes over. We have all this family over, and everybody knows the story. I've told the story like 1,000 times. My wife's probably gonna be listening. She's like, if I hear the story one more fucking time. So everyone knows the story. So we go downstairs in the basement, and we're playing just like games, right? Just games for the holidays. And there in my basement, like a shelf, like 3 of these, 1, 2, 3, right, filled with toys. So my mom goes downstairs. And she's like, oh my God, I remember all these. Thank God I saved them for you. And we're that face. We're all looking at each other like, what? She's like, Marco, what would you do if I didn't save all these? I'm like, Ma, I rebought every single one.
Right.
No, honey, no. Ma, I rebought every single one. What would you do with them? I'm like, you threw them out. I would never do that. I was like, yeah, where's all Dad's stuff? She's like, I threw it out. I'm like, and she made that connection. She was like, oh. I'm like, yeah, oh.
Wow.
But no, I mean,
Good job, Ma.
Yeah, exactly. So in terms of a goal,
Re-traumatized.
right? Exactly. My goal was Ghostbusters. I wanted all the Ghostbusters, so I'm pretty much there. So I did that, the old Ghostbusters.
Right.
So I did all that. Turtles, I'm never gonna get all the Turtles.
It's countless. It's countless. Well, you got the original lineup.
Exactly. So now I'm doing 1 or 2 other little things like all right, hold on, Mad Max.
Yes.
Oh, I remember.
Mad Max, right? So I want to
Mighty Max.
Mighty
Max.
Max. I'm so sorry,
Yeah.
Mighty Max. Yeah. So open it up. Yeah, it's full.
I wish I had. I got rid of it years ago, but I had Skull.
I used to do
Skull.
Skull.
Yeah,
the
I
whole
love
thing.
it. It was called
Skull
Skull.
Mountain?
Yes, I love. That was a
Skull
beautiful
Mountain.
playset.
Yeah.
What else? So then I'm in the store, and then do you ever have any of
Mighty
these?
Max, by the way, created to be the boy version of Polly
Polly
Pocket.
Pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever see these? Remember these? Anybody?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. The car. So back then, you
Yeah.
had no phone and stuff, right? Boom.
Yeah.
Right. So I have all the pieces. So like little things. This is what I'm getting, like the little
Right.
things here and there that I can remember. Like, oh shit, I remember that.
Right.
Like Pogs. I'm looking for Pogs now.
Oh,
I
yeah.
want Pogs.
Pogs
I
got
have
banned
them.
in school.
Dude,
But yeah, they were big.
Dude, if I have my
They
old
were
Pogs,
big.
I'll give it to you. I don't know if you want them.
Yeah, I'll take them.
Okay, I don't have any
man.
slammers,
That's
but,
exactly. So that's what I'm looking for. Just little things like that, right? So, Z-Bots.
Yeah.
No, yes,
I remember
no.
that.
So
I had,
was a little
what did
bit,
you have?
right?
Savage Mono blisters?
But
Those-
no, what?
They were like little like things like that. They were on little wheels, like almost like micro
I
machine
have to
wheels.
look. Micro Machines is another one.
Yeah.
No, I know one of the things you're looking for because I'm
Right,
looking
Muscle
for them
Men.
also.
Yeah,
are
Muscle
the
Men.
Street
Wow.
Sharks.
Street Sharks I'm looking
Yeah.
for.
They are
There it
hundreds
is,
of
yeah.
dollars for like one out of the box one.
Wow.
One of my favorites. Well, this should have been my favorite.
Yeah.
I should have said this. Battle Beast?
Yes.
Yeah,
Battle
Yeah,
Beast,
right.
yeah.
With Battle Beast. So that should have been one of my favorites right there. And then Transformers. Remember the cassette?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So like
Soundwave, right?
Soundwave. So I wouldn't
Soundwave,
go
yeah.
looking for
I always
this,
liked him,
but
yeah.
I see it like, oh fuck. So I
Yeah.
get it. So you talk about like completion. I don't know. Here and there when I see
Right.
things.
You
Right.
can go broke just collecting Transformers.
You can.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
so
Well, the
expensive.
Transformers are just nuts.
I
G1?
wish I kept that.
So
I
forget
wish
it
I
all.
kept that
I had
Optimus
them all.
Prime
Yeah.
I had.
Forget it,
You know how
man.
much money
I had
it's worth
them all.
right now?
But yeah, I mean, so there's no, and then little things like I'll go like today. I got an energy drink and I saw this.
Slime.
I got
Slime
a
is
Slimer.
on it. Yeah.
I got it. Who cares, right?
Right.
So like it's just, the collection just growing by
Right.
stupid little things.
Yep.
Now I'm curious, are you documenting this? Because you should be. You should be making a YouTube or
Nah,
on your
it's pretty
phone
cool. I
or
should've.
an Instagram.
No,
I'm telling you,
no.
people love this kind of stuff.
And you have to see it. So I built a shelf, and then I did the molding, and now it's like a fucking shrine to like these
Right.
toys, So
That's
it's
awesome.
it's cool. It's I enjoy it. It's fun. Like if I'm down, or if I'm just angry, or
Yes.
if I'm just like
Yeah.
I gotta
Yep.
get out, I'll
Yep.
go out. Local places, drive around, see what
Yeah.
I can find. But then you follow these guys on like Instagram and stuff who really collect, and it's insane.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
crazy.
They're insane. And then they're
So
like,
much stuff they
yeah,
have.
so much. And they're like, oh, this week's haul, and they have like bins and bins and bins of stuff, and I'm like, how the fuck do you do
Yeah.
that? Like, where do you even go to find stuff like
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Where do you go? Do you go to like a flea market?
No,
you just
so
go
I tried the
eBay
flea
and all
market
that
thing. I
shit?
tried the garage sales, and I'm like, I'm driving around with my dick
Yeah.
in my hand for like an hour. I can't find anything.
Right.
Sorry guys, but no. So now I just go to local stores. Right, there's one in Oakdale. I come here, right, and I'll just pick every now and then, just see what's new, this and that. eBay's kind of big because it's easy.
Yeah.
It's easy.
But it's not as fun, right?
But it's not as fun. Like I like digging through the bins. I like finding these random
Yeah.
things. So. But local, I should do what these people do. They go out of state. They'll drive to Pennsylvania or something.
Right.
But then outside the toys, I mean, I even started the Nintendo stuff. Like I got the old Nintendo. I brought the Game Boy. It's so funny. I brought the old Game Boy.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
mine.
Everyone's got
original.
the Game Boy,
Yeah.
Paper Boy. But I didn't. So it needs batteries. Who the fuck has batteries?
Right. I
Right.
still have mine.
Right, dude.
I still have the original AC adapter for mine.
Dude, good for you. No, so
Yeah.
I wanted to bring it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't have batteries, and my kid like just charge it. I'm like, you
Yeah.
can't charge it.
Yeah, you put the
can't-
batteries in here and you get to play for a half hour.
But you can't charge it.
I used to
They
love
have no
Game
idea.
Gear, the Sega one.
Game Gear was good.
The problem with Game Gear is they didn't have any good games.
They had Sonic. That's all I needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they had football. All I needed.
You know what I was big into? Because my Game Boys always broke because we'd always fight and throw them at each other. Super Game Boy.
Yeah.
So
All
Super
right,
Game
all
Boy
right.
came out for the Super
Yep.
Nintendo system, and you just put it in the cartridge, then you put the Game
Yep.
Boy games
Yep.
in there. And I would say about 90% of the big Game Boy games I played was from playing it
Yeah.
on Super Game Boy.
Yeah.
Go back. What was it? The Tiger Electronics.
Yeah.
Oh, I hated those toys.
Yeah, but everyone had them,
Yeah,
right?
I
They
know.
had
That's
every
why when
single one, man. They
we
were
were talking about
everywhere.
I know later on when it's about toys that suck. That's a horrible toy.
It was the same game. It was either baseball, football, X-Men. No matter
Yeah.
what the game was, it
was
was
the
literally
same
They're
game.
never
the exact same
accurate.
fucking
It always
game.
looked like it was like looks like they used like a calculator screen, that
Yeah.
black,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
ugh.
It was always the same game, no matter what it was. They did it constantly.
So yeah, maybe we should start going around and talk about some of our favorite toys from those decades, the
Yeah.
80s and 90s. Alex, why don't you share us one of yours? Start us off, man.
Oh yeah, I got a list, man. I'm so excited to go over this. I'm gonna start off because these ones were a little unique. Were some of the superhero toys back in the day?
Oh yeah.
I remember there was a Carnage and a Venom, but there was two versions of each. There was like Venom that arms didn't move; it only
Right.
went like up and down. But then there was the one with the long tongue. That's the one like I had growing up. One of the Carnage one that had the retractable because like despite the Maximum Carnage was big around that
You get the
time.
one that had like the almost like the axe hand.
Yeah.
Right.
But the one thing I remember back in the day when I was young was the old DC Batman. So I had the Batmobile.
Yeah.
I got the wing. Like I was huge
I had the
into Batman.
Batcave.
The Batcave is great.
I
Yeah.
didn't
still
have the
have my
Batcave. I
Batcave.
had this. So growing up, I had these like, we weren't rich, but we weren't poor. But like we had these desks of like I don't know what cheap wood they were made of, but they had like these shelves. So there would be like another shelf on top of the desk, and that underneath that the first one was my Batcave. So
Right.
that's where I
awesome.
needed it.
Yeah.
But so, I had the Batmobile, I had the jet and everything.
Right.
But one thing that sticks when you think about those old toys was how well you had to take care of their capes.
Yes.
Yes.
Because the capes were these little snap-on things that
And they
would go
had like
around
a little
the back.
plastic collar
Yeah.
Yes.
that would go around their neck.
Yeah.
But if you had like a tear, that little piece of plastic, that ring that goes around the neck,
Yeah.
would fall out.
Yeah.
And then you couldn't put the cape on them anymore.
Yeah, my mom used to put hot glue on them.
Yeah.
The hot glue them on there and stuff like that because like if you lost the cape, if the cape ripped
forget
or
about
whatever,
it. Oh, it's over.
and you feel like, well, it's not Batman. He doesn't have his
It's
cape.
so funny to say that. So part of my problem here is I started just to be like, just want one or two things, right?
Right.
Just so I don't need all the accessories. I don't need
Yeah,
the
you
capes.
do.
I don't. Now I'm like, son of a bitch. I wish I had the guy with the cape, and I
Yeah.
haven't done. It's like Shredder. I have Shredder without the cape.
You need the cape.
I need the cape. I have this person without the cape. I
Right.
have this person without, without
why you
the
can
hat.
afford him.
And I'm
Yeah,
there. Now
exactly.
I'm like, like you said, Darkwing Duck. I
Yep.
have Darkwing Duck. He doesn't have his hat.
Oh, but he's not Darkwing
He's
Duck.
not Darkwing Duck. So now I'm
Right.
like, I'm furious because now I actually
Yeah.
care more than I thought I was
Right.
going to.
Yeah.
But you need all those little things. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I gotta find someone with a 3D printer to like
Yeah.
print me shit that I lost, or I gotta find someone who knows how to sew a purple cape
Yeah.
back on my.
No, I remember from Batman because all my Batman don't have any capes, but I used to take like a black garbage bag, cut it, and like put his head through it, and it kind of worked. You know, and if it ripped, I could just make another one.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, and another weird, funny toy set was like so back in the day, like my parents were strict, like no TV past 5, no like whatever. Even weekends, like they were very strict.
Right.
They're like what we watched, when we watched it. Unless my dad or my mom were watching movies, then we were allowed to watch them with them. At the time, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves was a big movie.
Yeah.
And they watched it all the time, so we watched it all the time. So we ended up really liking it to the point where we actually had the Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves toy
Oh.
sets.
I have
Wow.
it too.
Uh-huh.
We had
Yeah.
Robin Hood. We had
Is that what
Little
Richard
John.
Gere? Am I thinking or
No,
Kevin
Costner?
Costner.
That's
Costner.
it.
We
Okay.
had talk about play sets. We
I had the Sherwood
Sherwood
Forest.
Yeah, the Sherwood Forest. And I always thought that
Which
now,
is like 4 trees,
Yeah.
4 plastic trees with like a little bridge that just went around,
Yep.
and that was the whole thing.
yeah,
Right.
it was
It
super
was the
cheesy.
greatest.
But and
Which used to
again,
double as my playset for my Ewoks. I would use it as Endor.
yeah, that makes
I had the Ewok place.
Yeah, and again, accessories. You didn't want to lose the bow and arrow
Yeah.
that
Right.
came with Robin Hood. You didn't want to lose
Lose
the
the
bow
staff.
staff
Yeah.
that came with Little John.
Yep.
We had Sheriff of Nottingham and his
Yeah.
sword. Like they were.
I used to have all those also. Yeah.
Yeah, so those were big. It's like my odd thing growing up that I was.
Kevin Costner movies, for whatever reason, produced toys because they made the Robin Hood toys, but they also made Waterworld
World,
toys.
yep.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
And they were so
Yeah.
stupid.
yeah.
But they made what kid is like, I need to have this Waterworld toy.
Yeah.
But they
Right.
made them.
Right.
Yeah, so I can keep going on. Let's
Yeah.
keep going with the round
I
table.
think. I think. You guys remember Stretch Armstrong?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, but he had a villain. His name was Vacman.
Yes.
I still have him. Unfortunately, it doesn't
Oh,
work.
me
So what
too.
Vacman was, he's like, he looked scary. He has
Yeah.
to fight my Power Rangers. He was a great villain. So he'd be like, kind of like, basically what it was, he was like this red, like, being, and then, like, you stuck this vacuum to the side of his head, and you suck the air out of him, hence
Right.
the vacuum part, and then you can, like, stretch his, he was like Stretch Armstrong, but he would stay that way. So this thing might be, like, maybe a foot long, but when you could stretch it, it'd be 2 feet long.
Right.
And he was like, he was tough, like,
Yeah.
but I kept mine in pristine. I always kept my toys very good, feel. But for some reason, I can't vacuum anymore. I'm like, no, But I
But
still
he was
have.
great
he
for
looks
the
great.
Power Rangers because you can make him grow and fight the
Yeah,
Zords.
exactly. So he was a great villain, and I love that. So he looked really mean because I never liked Stretch Armstrong that
Right.
much. I never was really gravitated towards that toy. But when I saw Vacman, just the commercial, I miss toy commercials. I don't know. I mean, I don't watch Nickelodeon. I don't know if they make them
anymore.
I don't think they make commercials.
I don't even see them on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, do kids see commercials?
The old commercials for the G.I. Joe toys were like little movies.
Yeah, they'd be like going up over like a dirt mountain, like someone's backyard. They look great, Do
you have anything? You said you keep everything pristine. Do you have anything in boxes, or everything's just?
I have all my Power Ranger toys are all in the original like
no kidding.
styrofoam, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yep, I got. I have all the boxes for them though. I think I do have the box for my X-Men X-Wing. I think I have the box. I know I have the
X-Jet. The jet.
That's the jet. Yeah, I know I have the directions to that.
I think it was called like the Bluebird or something like that.
Yes, but I have that. I have I like Turtles. I have Batman. Not all the boxes, but I have all those.
Yeah, that's good.
Was that G.I. Joe where the accessories used to come in this like plastic square and you'd have to like pop all the
The Turtles used to come that way. They all of the action figures came that way.
Yeah.
You have to break them off and you'd be very gingerly about it.
Yeah.
And that's why the Turtles. So Turtles has a line with the half shell, the storage shells.
Yes.
Pop their backs open, you put all that shit in, and you
Yep.
close
Right.
it.
Yeah, I remember
Probably one
them.
of the smartest things ever done.
Ever.
Right.
Never lost a freaking sword or knife ever
katana,
again.
Yeah. I used to love all the Ninja Turtle toys. My favorite Ninja Turtle toy was the pizza thrower, the pizza tank. And you load up the pizzas in there, and it would shoot out.
I think my brother had it.
That was my favorite.
Those toys are so creative.
They really were.
They really were. I mean, and they were solid toys. You know? Like, I mean, so I started collecting the new Turtle line, and we could talk about that too. And they look great, but they're
not as fun.
Flimsy.
Flimsy things, But the old stuff is just solid.
Yeah.
Solid.
There was a line of DC toys that came out in the 90s, the Total Justice line. And they made such good characters that you'd only know if you read the comics. Like, they had Green Lantern, but it was Kyle Rayner.
Right.
And they had that. They had the Nightwing. And they made these, like, for me as a comic book kid, I'm like, oh my God, this is great. Because it's not just Batman, Robin, the Joker, or whatever. It was all of these, like, deep-cut superhero toys. I think they made, like, a Plastic Man. And you could have an entire adventure for the Justice League with the villains and all the ancillary heroes that aren't your big name ones. And I loved that.
Where'd you get those though? Because
Toys R Us had
really?
them. Yeah.
That's the other thing. Where do you get
I think it's just Target and Walmart.
Target and Walmart. That's it. And the selections or whatever. But man, we had like Toys R Us. We would go there.
KB Toys.
Spend days.
Yeah.
Spend literally your afternoon.
It was a whole store just of toys.
Yeah.
It was like mind blowing. Now it's just an aisle or two.
It's an aisle or Amazon. Like it's
sucks.
wild. It's wild.
But kids don't play with toys. I sit in this toy store every day.
Yeah.
And adults come in and will buy toys. Or they'll buy comics. Or they'll buy whatever the hell I sell here. Kids come in. I had a guy come in here yesterday with his kid. Father told the kid, you can have anything you want. No limit. Kid didn't want anything.
I think kids today, they
don't get it.
From age 1 to about maybe kindergarten now, first grade. That's it, and after that, it's just video games.
Yeah.
It's just straight up video games because they don't have any, or they just want to collect shit. I don't like Minecraft, like a sword. They'll do that, but
exactly.
Or even Legos. I think Legos were like a. I didn't really love Legos. I always felt they were very much display. You can't play. They always break.
Yeah,
shit.
I didn't get into Legos until I was an adult.
Yeah, but they're for the display, right? To display them,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
That's
I
why
was only into the medieval ones.
Oh yeah, like the castle. That's really
castles.
that's like more like a play set. Yeah, or the pirate ship thing.
Yeah, I loved the medieval. I always had to make sure you saved all accessories, the knight helmet,
the helmet,
and stuff like that. Yeah.
No, I never did the Legos, but you're right. I mean, I have a number of nieces and nephews, and like once they're past the first grade.
Yep.
The girls are a little different, obviously, right? They have but the guys, once first, second grade, they're like.
They don't care about the
video
toys.
games.
Video games or obviously like sports, so that, but it's not nothing like this.
No way.
And they don't need to. They don't need to.
Yeah.
This we did, something to do.
My nephews are still into them. They were into like the Mario Legos,
I can see that the Legos.
They're all Nintendo based, but like the race cars for Mario Kart now, and you can buy other pieces that extend the tracks and stuff like that.
I have the cars.
Yeah,
the little cars.
But then again, you could also sit there, which a game I still don't understand to this day is they can play Minecraft for like 10 hours.
Yeah.
But you say that, but you probably could have played with your action figures for 10 hours.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
I guess, but I just don't get the point of the game.
I don't know.
See, I'll say this though: like we all had like Nintendo and then Sega,
Yeah.
and that wasn't the be all end all.
Yes.
We had,
That's true.
we
Yeah.
had the supplement stuff. You
Yeah.
know? Like,
Yeah.
So now it's like either a phone, which Minecraft or Fortnite, and
Right.
and that's it. Like
Yeah.
that's it. There's nothing else to supplement their time. So
Well, the thing also is, I understand inflation and all that, right? But when I was a kid, you go to a store, and if my dad bought me an action figure, it was like $5, $10 for like a deluxe edition.
Yeah.
The cheapest toy now is like $20 or $30,
Yeah.
and it's not an action figure you're gonna play with. It's an
Yeah.
action figure, but it's a collector piece.
Yeah.
So I think it's also different because when you go into a toy store, there's nothing in there that you're going to want to throw against the wall for that amount of money.
Right.
Right.
So I used to have all the wrestling action figures. I used to love wrestling.
And the
I
wrestling ring.
I had the ring. I
Yeah,
had all the
yeah.
wrestlers.
Did you have the Titantron and all that?
I did.
Wow.
I had the Titantron. I had the ones you put on the Titantron and would play the music.
Oh.
I had all that shit. And you could have WrestleMania, right? You
Right.
could do it. I had the original. You know, the really
You can do it. You can have resolution.
You can have a
I've done it. I can do it.
You can have a
Royal
Royal
Rumble
Rumble
if you want. I had the original ones, like the small plastic ones, you know, like where you push the thing in the back and his head just kind of
Yeah,
does one of
yeah,
those.
yeah. I
Right?
remember that.
I had all those. Then I had the newer ones for like the Attitude Era, like Stone Cold, and I beat the shit out of them
Right.
because I mean they had a
Yeah.
fight, they had to win the title.
Right.
But now it's $30 to buy a wrestling toy. He's not getting powerbombed through a cage.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not lasting. He's not lasting. And this-
Right.
dude. I bought toys for my kids that as we're opening them,
They just fall
they fall
apart,
apart.
and you
Literally,
spend a
as
ton
you're
of money
opening
on it.
Yeah.
It's not. It's the quality's not there. Tom McFarlane makes great quality action
Yeah.
figures, great looking action figures, but you're not playing
You're
with
not
those
playing
action
with them.
figures.
It just
Yeah.
displays, man.
Right.
Just displays. Mm-hmm.
No, you don't play them. That's why you have to go back to get with the Pillow People. The Pillow People
Oh,
wrestlers.
Yeah.
the
The wrestling buddies?
Yeah, wrestling buddies. There you go.
Yeah, I remember those. We had a couple
Yeah.
of those. I remember someone's kid. I got. I think there was an anime Evangelion, and they had these giant robots, and I saw one.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, cool, yeah, they love this. But it's a collectible. It's not made to be
Right.
played with, and the thing would constantly fall apart. And I remember like
Right.
my friend telling me, he's like, dude, where'd you get this thing? And constantly falls apart. I'm like, really? That's when remember Stony Brook had
Yeah.
Icon?
Yep.
So I got it at Icon. And I was like, all right. It's like, well, let me grab it. Maybe I can exchange it for something or whatever. I forget what I was. So I get there and I'm looking at it, and then I forget who was. Maybe it was my sister or someone's like, yeah, you don't play with those. You put them together and you display them.
Yeah.
Right.
I was like, well, that's stupid. Now this poor kid has a toy.
You
Yeah.
can't do anything
So
with
they,
it.
they actually ended up super gluing
Oh no shit.
everything together so that he could play with this toy. Yeah.
You remind me of you guys. You were talking to Legos. You just said something that reminded me that my brother again. He's now 30, so 13 years younger. He was big into, and I thought they were great. Bionicles.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I remember
That
those.
was cool, right? Like
Yeah.
you build it, and then you got something.
Yeah.
And you can move it. You can play with
Yep.
it, or you can leave it up on your shelf and be done
Yes.
with it. But those were actually pretty cool. And
Yeah.
I think that was done very well.
Yeah.
And then they had and there's nothing like that anymore that's actually constructive.
No, there's really nothing cool in the toy aisle these days. Not in Target anyway.
Yeah. No one was great. I feel like they're kind of like gone now. Is Nerf guns. Remember that? That was like a big
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
Everyone was
Yeah.
shooting each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very American, right? We're shooting each other. Or I guess we're doing that with real guns.
Yeah.
but-
I think adults play with them more now than
Yeah.
kids do.
Yeah.
But like, but now they look like there's people who take the gun and they refurbish them. They paint them black and now they
Yeah.
look real. But
Yeah.
like,
Well, was Power Super Soakers.
yes,
Yeah.
Super Soakers were
Oh!
outstanding, and they
Oh,
all
love
looked
those
right.
Super Soakers.
How do you not have a water gun? Like, they don't have
Yeah.
water guns.
Yeah.
No.
How's
Yeah.
that pot? I got balloons that like don't pop, which is
Yeah.
ridiculous. But like,
Oh, yeah.
they don't, they don't have
Right.
water
Those
guns.
things hurt, man. When you get chucked with those,
They
man,
don't- yeah,
they
they're
hurt.
not
They
great.
You
don't-
ever
I
see a
don't
thing
know.
they have now with water balloons? It's like a stem and it grows like
Those are
kind of.
outstanding.
Those are amazing.
Those are
I wish we
outstanding.
had those as
so
kids.
basically, do you know what I'm talking about? So,
No.
so basically, you buy water balloons instead of getting a pack of water balloons.
Yep.
Right.
You're buying 10 on like these mini straws.
Yes.
And all the straws are connected to a cap.
Okay.
You just twist the cap onto the hose. You turn the hose on, filters through
Oh,
all these
shit.
little things, and then when they're filled, you just shake it, and boom, you got 20 water balloons.
Yeah, they
right
Wow.
yeah,
You're
they
not tying
automatically
anything together or
seals.
anything.
It, like,
Oh, wow.
So it's just
amazing.
like boom, 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 boom,
Yeah,
boom,
it's
boom.
great until you get hit with them because they don't explode.
yeah.
You get welts all over you. So we like one time we actually ended up buying.
Well, if they
The
don't
old-
explode, what's the point?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, there's two. There's some ones that don't pop.
Okay.
Right.
Well, they're supposed to pop, but they don't.
The
They're
material.
reusable.
Right.
Yeah.
I ended
Yeah.
up buying the ones. Yeah, there's the ones that you throw. They're like in a case, and like when they pop, you can put them back together and reuse them. They actually will break. But we actually bought those one year. It took us forever to fill them all up. The old school grenade looking ones.
Yes.
Yeah.
And one by one, we filled every single one up, and when you got hit with one, it exploded.
Right.
But when you think about the amount of time it takes, we're a big family, to
it's never worth it.
Fill all of them back up again. So we don't even do the water balloon fights anymore because like we're vicious. I'm not just gonna lob one at my brother. I'm gonna throw it at my brother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like we would literally afterwards we would have marks all over our bodies and unbroken water balloons everywhere. Or if they finally did explode, you had to really hit it with force.
So in general, I'm anti-balloon.
I am with you with that. I cannot stand balloons.
Don't like balloons. I have like a personal hatred towards them. So I don't know if you remember this. I used to work at the Party Giant.
Right.
And you work at the Party Giant was all right. So you know Party City.
Yeah.
Let's call Party City the Target of party stores. Party Giant was like
the Walmart of
the Walmart,
like the
99-cent store of party stores.
Was that over here?
Yes, it was
right over here, and then it was the ground round.
Yes,
is that it?
Yeah,
okay.
right there.
See, I know.
Yep, that's where I worked.
Yeah.
And you would sit there, and people would come in, and they would need to buy balloons for parties, and they'd be like, "I'm having a bridal shower, whatever.
Right.
I need 3 dozen balloons." And the amount of, your fingers would go numb tying this shit into knots. So I hate balloons. I hate the feeling of a balloon. I hate tying a balloon into a knot.
That noise, like it's
the
like
noise,
that.
I hate balloons. I hate driving. I hate putting them in the car. I hate driving. I'm so
putting them in the car is the worst.
I hate balloons.
It's terrible.
I hate it.
So anyway, I don't play with water balloons because I don't like balloons.
Yeah, one last time with the water. Remember that there was like a game where like I guess it was like you put it like in this cage and had a time like hot potato, and then like after the buzzer would run out, like there would be a pin that would hit it. But I think they had to ban it because like kids were like sticking their hands in the actual pin itself. But
I was also big into, we talk about guns and water balloons, laser tag. But like the laser tag that had the that was, you still can't beat that. That was still pretty great.
I just remember like too like the 90s too, like we were saying before, like you had your video games, you had your toys, and this one had like I call it sport toys. You had like Skip It. The girls had you had moon shoes. You know, I loved these. Actually, I just broke a few years ago. I was upset. Remember Devil Sticks? It was like flipping around like a carnival guy. You know, like I just loved all that crap. And, like
Bop It.
Oh yeah, Bop It.
Bop It was great. They still Bop It's still around. There's like 10,000 different versions. Of Bop
Remember
It now,
Slip and Slides?
Yeah.
You'd be like a crocodile, and you were like,
maybe it was one of these things where you remember it differently. But we just got a Slip and Slide a couple of years ago, and it was. I don't know what.
Probably a death trap.
I wouldn't call it a slip and slide. It was like a plastic bag that was no bigger than this table. And like, you put the hose and it's supposed to have like, the water fountain. No.
No, you gotta throw detergent. You gotta throw like detergent or something.
Yeah, now you can something.
None
of it works anymore.
I don't know how to slide.
Right.
So I'm just like,
Can you
run.
skip? Can you skip?
No, I don't skip.
Okay, so that's probably.
I can't skip. I can't slide.
It's like skipping but falling.
Yeah, I can't do it. But I just saw it fall. I'd be like, boom. And that's it. Now I'm face first on the floor. Like, this wasn't fun.
Right, this
just
work.
hurt.
This didn't work.
I think I broke a rib.
No, but we did things, and like so in that sense, sort of vein, like the spy sets. Remember all the
Yes.
spy
Yes.
sets? None of them actually did anything, but they were the cool.
Yeah, it had like a telescope or like a headset.
Yeah. Well, you had the glasses that had the little mirror in it.
Yes.
You had that, and you're always like, I'm spying on you. Like, but those were great. Like, you did things. You did
cool,
things.
Marco.
Right.
Yeah, you are.
Marco still uses a spy set and does it on his wife.
No, all the time. Invisible
I
ink.
can see you.
Right. But no, there was just tons of different things. No matter what you were sort of into, there was something there. It's not like that.
Yeah.
It's not like that anymore.
I remember like things were also like, and now kids are spoiled now with technology, but I feel like they don't even incorporate with toys. Remember, I had this thing called VoiceBot, where it was like voice activated. You'd like transform, and it would like. Now they had now they have like an Optimus Prime one. It's like $3,000. But I mean, that back then that was like pretty like it was like maybe $60. I remember I got it for Christmas, and you would be like fire, and all those things were like new.
You know what I used to have? Speaking of things where you like record voices and stuff. From Home Alone, the Talk Boy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, which is I think for the movie they just designed it, but it wasn't really working. But because the movie was such a hit, someone's like, "Hey, design that.
Make
crap.
this a thing." Yeah.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah,
no
it
kidding.
was just
That
a prop
cool.
that they just took a bunch of crap on it, and then
I just saw the other day, and I wish I had it here. You're talking about these things. It was like, do you remember that little keychain?
Tamagotchi?
No. So it was like a little keychain, but it had all the different colored buttons, and each one made like a different noise, like beep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? Like I had I had all those.
They had them also like little laser guns that made the same noises.
All the same noises. And I just saw it today, and I was like, oh, I gotta find one. I gotta get one of those. Right? But that same thing was just different, man. It was everything.
Or I remember just interactive toys. I called them it was like creepy crawlers.
Yeah.
You know, they just stick it like in
I used
an
to have
oven.
those. Yeah.
There was like another one.
That was the guy version of the
girl shaking. It was like it's not shake and bake. It was like
the Easy Bake Oven.
Easy Bake Oven.
Yes.
I used to have like a creepy crawl ice cream maker. You can make your own ice cream. Yes.
It was like a Snoopy ice cream.
Yeah.
I didn't have that.
You
I
had
had the
that,
original.
though.
I had the original.
You were able to do that,
crawlers.
but not the slime.
Wait,
that's interesting.
What'd you have?
Yeah, because we did that on
The
the
original
table.
creepy crawlers.
Oh,
yeah.
That interests me. That's interesting. As long as on the table, it was good.
Yeah, because you
had
could clean the
slime
table.
everywhere. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I think it was more geared towards girls. It was like a plastic. I don't know what it was. It's almost like you made stained glass. Like you would get
And
like
then you put it in the oven.
Yes.
Shrinky dinks.
That's
Yes.
it.
Shrinky dinks. Yep.
Yeah, those
see?
things.
They
Or like
still have
Play-Doh.
them.
You could
Yeah.
bake your Play-Doh and make
Yeah.
it hard so that they wouldn't.
We talked about this too when we talked to the movie. We reviewed the Barbie movie, but my sister had she wasn't really totally into Barbie dolls. She had a lot of My Little Pony.
Right.
And look, I'm not gonna lie, I did play with some of those.
Yeah.
But I just remember them being very beautiful toys.
Yeah,
Barbie
yeah.
dolls, beautiful toys. Not like in a sexual way. I'm talking about just in terms of
I mean, but also
craftsmanship.
some of those Barbies got knocked off. Those Power Rangers went to town.
Oh yeah.
Well, if you saw
But
the
those were
movie,
beautiful
right, they don't
toys.
have any
Yeah.
genitalia.
Yeah.
That was a whole big thing. That
Right.
was
But
weird,
we were talking about playsets before. Barbie had nice. She had the Corvette. She had her own
had the dream
She had
house.
the dream house. She had a slamming house, man. She had a camper. She had nice accessories. I used to.
I used to go there with my Power Rangers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I used to use my Pink Ranger and Yellow Ranger. They used to go at it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All those toys were so special. They all the toys too also had I call them special abilities. Like you put them in cold water,
Yes.
and they would
Yes.
turn
Yeah.
clear.
Yes.
Or I had
Well, that's like
swamp
this with the
thing.
hologram. Hologram
The
was a
swamp
big
thing that would turn brown, he would look like a tree.
Yes.
Yes.
There was a line of toys I didn't have. I don't remember, but I see them everywhere. They had their whole inset was a hologram,
Yes.
Yep.
and you had they held different holograms
Yep.
for different people. It was cool, man.
I remember the Flash toy had the little wind up.
Yeah.
He'd wind him up, and then his arms would go, so it looks like
Yeah.
he was running.
Yeah.
They don't do shit like that.
No.
That was the coolest
But
thing.
it was so
simple.
innovative. It was just
Yeah.
a simple
Yeah.
machine. Maybe like a rubber
Yeah.
band inside.
Yeah.
And that will go back to Ghostbusters. That's why the Ghostbusters I thought were awesome. Each one did something.
Yep.
They had the fright thing, the heads
Yeah.
go, and the pop and pop and pop.
The tie pops up.
Yeah,
the
yes.
tie
Little
always
things.
snapped
Right,
up.
yeah.
Nobody had a full tie on
Right?
Egon.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. But no, they all did something, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Even the Transformers now are very basic. Where
Yeah.
I remember.
I'm not smart enough to transform a
Yeah,
transformer.
Nah.
One of the
Can't do
toys
that
I wrote
shit.
here was Astro Train and Scorponok, where
I'm not sure which that guy is. but
they transformed into whatever, but then they transformed into a giant scorpion. They transformed
Yeah.
into a giant. They would transform.
Yeah.
Depending on how you manipulated
Right.
them, they
Yeah.
transformed into multiple things.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's been a while since I looked at the modern Transformers toys, but they seem a lot more basic.
I
now.
always liked the Beast Wars Transformers better. Because I was never a big car guy. I didn't care much about cars. I appreciated Hot Rod. He was cool.
Yeah,
When it became Rodimus Prime and all that. But I always liked the Beast Wars better because you could turn them into dinosaurs and monkeys and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought that was way
I
more
can see
fun.
that. What doesn't work for me is any line outside of the Transformers that tries to transform. It never
Right.
worked. Never.
Like a
Yes.
Gobot.
Don't do that. Yeah. Well, not even that. Turtles again.
Right.
They had transforming turtles. That
You could turn.
stop.
They looked like
Stop.
regular turtles,
Right.
and then they turned into a
That's
ninja
what-
turtle.
it's
Yeah.
stop. If you're not a transformer, don't transform.
Right.
It doesn't
They
make
had
any sense.
the,
Just
they
stop.
had the samurai ones that you would
Yeah.
click the feet, and then the samurai gear would come
Yeah.
out.
Yeah,
And
just
all
stop.
their-
Just stop. Just stop. all
Well, they
that.
had the Power Rangers like that too. You could see their regular heads,
Yeah.
and then you click the belt buckle, and
It
they
just
morph.
morphs.
They flip.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I definitely think the Power Ranger toys were great at transforming, though.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, yes,
they were
when they
absolutely
did
the
the
ones
Zords
from the
were
'90s
just-
Zords,
were they look beautiful. I think the Power Ranger toys and the Barbie dolls are the most beautiful toys ever made.
Bandai made the
they
Power
look-
Ranger toys back then, and they killed it.
I mean, they're beautiful. I mean,
Yeah.
and they fit well.
Yeah.
I still play once in a while. I'll take
Yeah.
them out and they still fit. They still work and everything. They had sounds. You put batteries in them.
Yeah.
I like the Voltron when you want
Yes.
to talk about putting things together.
Oh,
Voltron,
yeah.
Voltron,
Right.
I think they were cool. They did it well. They worked. Everything snapped.
Yeah.
Really well.
Yeah.
They did it well. Nowadays, I can't even see them even attempting something like that.
The other thing is too, back then we bought the toys because we watched the show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But there's really no shows anymore or cartoons like that
That's a good point.
to make a toy out of.
That's a good point. Yeah,
What show exists right now that a kid could watch that they'd want to run out and buy the toy? I can't think of one.
I think they're still doing it with Ninja Turtles.
That's about it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And the shows that I got little nieces and nephews, and the cartoons and the shows that they watch aren't. It's not like that. You know, it's not like there's nothing like that.
Like you could watch the Batman the animated series and then buy all the Batman toys, but there's no shows like that now.
New. There's nothing new.
Right.
I mean, you could do all these again 1,000 times
right.
over. That's what they're doing, right? But new.
There's nothing new.
I don't know anything.
I think that's why the toy aisle keeps shrinking. There's nothing to make a toy out of.
Yeah. Or the video games, it's like the Fortnite. I know some kids buy like the grenades from it, but it just doesn't like.
Yeah.
It's just there's nothing to it. You know, it's just
because they're big into the games, and a lot of the stuff you want to buy for the games are in-game purchases. So my godson, he wants gift cards for like 3 different games, Roblox and whatever, something else. Because they're toys for their toys. Like it's just weird.
Wow.
Like,
toys.
I gotta build my house. I need some money to build my house a certain way. I'm like, building a house? Like, what are you doing?
People love the Funko Pops now, which I don't categorize as a toy.
Yeah.
They're more like a mini statue. But that's like the only recent new toy thing that a kid might want to buy.
Yeah.
Right.
I put those in the same realm as like Beanie Babies, Trolls.
Yeah,
Trolls
exactly. Yeah. What was this? The Squishmallows was big, right? Squishmallows were big, like that kind of stuff. But that you don't.
What was
You'll
this
play
called?
with it.
Spoosh balls, like koosh balls. Right?
Koosh.
That was a big thing.
They were only popular because of Rosie O'Donnell.
Right. Hey. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. I think one of my favorite. I can't remember if we talked about it on our Godzilla episode or maybe. Oh, you talked about this one. You said you made stop motion. So actually, this ties into our Godzilla episode. Yeah. So, folks, if you haven't listened to that episode, go back and listen to it. It was fantastic. But anyway, I had a Tyco video cam, which was a black and white camera that wasn't like they made it look like it was handheld, and it was, but the wires actually extended to the back of your VCR. It was only shot black and white. It was like a basically security cam. I love that camera.
That's cool.
I actually filmed a movie with my pet rabbit. He died, God bless him. But I made Cocozilla. So actually, and I released I redid it, and it's actually on YouTube. Maybe I'll make a reel out of it. But yeah, my rabbit fought my pet monster. So my rabbit fought him. Yeah, and lamb chops in it.
Yeah, lamb chops.
But
holy smokes!
A quick story about that camera, real quick. So maybe we said it on the previous episode. I don't even know, but. One of our favorite bands at the time was 311.
Yep.
And they had this thing called the 311.
Oh, February.
No, nice. Okay, yeah, I want to see them. I've seen them a bunch of times. Yeah. So they had this thing called the 311 Milk Challenge, where you had to drink a gallon of milk. It was at their shows, like it's backstage, and whatever. If you drink a gallon of milk under an hour, you would get $311. So me, PJ, our friend Dan, maybe someone else, we had a bright idea of actually trying to complete this challenge.
There was someone else. Who was it?
Was it
Eric?
Maybe. Or was it Ballo?
I don't think. Maybe Ballo. I don't remember.
It was another guy. It was definitely another guy there.
But, wasn't
and I used this camera, and I don't know where this tape is. Somewhere, anyway, there's a tape of us drinking this milk, and like for some reason we used whole milk, not like skim milk, something thinner or anything like that. But too bad it was in black and white because our friend Dan actually turned green.
He really did.
He turned fucking green. I couldn't believe it. And then I was like, I remember it was like halfway into this. I'm like, what are we doing? This is like poison. Like,
it was awful.
And I remember like calling him. All of us got sick. We all throw up. Or, I remember I called PJ. I'm like, to say how he's doing. He's like, yo, I'm pissing milk out of my ass, bro. It was just terrible. But anyway, so I still have my camera.
Right? You guys all did it, right?
Yeah, we all did.
Oh, you actually did?
No. No one made it. No one made it.
I thought you said you made it.
Did you keep the video? Do you have the video?
Somewhere I have it.
We gotta find that.
I have it somewhere. I gotta.
You gotta find it so we can put it on
VHS. But
those are the dumber things we did.
But those, I mean, now kids are spoiled. They have cameras on their phones, but back then that was a big deal. Just having like that ability to record.
Yeah,
you recorded really well. Yeah. Like it, I mean, it's like just a security. You can't focus on you can't zoom in, but it was outstanding.
But there were also some real shitty toys.
Oh yeah,
and I know we've spoken about it before, and we have it here in the shop, but. The X-Men Mutant Hall of Fame.
Yes.
That has every X-Men action figure, hero, and villain. And you get this thing as a child, and you think that you now have every X-Men toy until you open it up and realize you can't take them off the stand.
So I'm sitting here, and I'm looking at that because I had it.
Yeah.
And it was the best thing in the world. And then you open it up.
Yeah.
And it sucks.
It's The worst thing.
The
And
worst.
I remember trying to get them off, and I just, at the end of the day,
I got that for Christmas.
smashed the shit out of it.
We talked about it in my Christmas episode, the worst gifts you got. I said that's my number one because I remember I was crying because I was like, who would, what?
Yeah.
It was in Toys R Us magazine, you know, like, but.
Why not just make them
come off?
Come off. And
They would have sold
back
more
on
of
their
those
pegs.
if they would have made it, you know.
It's the straight, I smashed the shit out of it.
Yeah.
I'm just done with it. Because they had everyone, and everyone looks good and detailed.
Yeah. And you can't play with it.
Do they move? I don't remember if they move.
No, they're not posable.
They're not even posable, right? Nah, trash.
Total trash.
Because nobody was really collecting.
No, not back then.
They were. What would I do with that?
Yeah.
What the fuck was the point of that? See how angry I'm getting?
I know we talked about it before about toys that.
You go out for a drink after this?
Yeah.
Okay. Talk about it a little bit more.
My other least favorite toy, or one of them, was a Spider-Man toy.
I think I know which one you're gonna say. Go ahead.
It was he was only in one position where it looked like he was swinging.
Right.
And he had a rope. Like it was a little string, and it was supposed to slide. But the mechanism that allowed him to slide always got jammed, so he would never actually slide. So he couldn't swing. Right. All he could do was hang by his two hands. And I was always like, I want him to go from the Daily Bugle to the floor. I want him to be Spider-Man. And he could never do it because he always broke.
And you couldn't use him for anything else because he didn't move.
Because he didn't move. You couldn't use him as a regular Spider-Man. Right. He was stuck in the swing position, but couldn't swing.
Yeah.
One of my least favorite, this is actually a gaming console. Was it 90s they came up with the Virtual Boy?
Yes.
Yep.
Virtual Boy. I remember being so excited. I mean, like, my parents raised 8 kids. God bless them. We always had, we were never rich, but we always had food and clothes, and we always had the newest system.
Right.
And I remember they came out with that, and we got it like the year it came out. We were so excited. People were jealous that we got it before them. We got all into it. Like, we cleared like a corner of our closet so we could play in complete darkness and set this thing up. And man, was that just a hunk of garbage.
Yeah.
Like, we used it more as a toy for, like, if aliens were invading our other toys, they flew in on the Virtual Boy. That was like their spaceship. That's what we used it for, because as the games and everything went, it was stupid. Like, it was just, I remember being so disappointed in that, and I really wanted to like it, and I was waiting for games to come out, and they came out with 5 games. It tanked so bad, and no more games came out for it. It's just like, well.
So, did anyone see 8-Bit Christmas?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And the whole thing with the glove.
Oh, the glove.
So perfect. So perfectly done.
I know it's about. I haven't seen it.
They do a whole thing about the Game Boy, right?
Great Christmas
movie.
Nintendo Power Glove. And it was just so spot on, because that was a piece of shit.
It was terrible,
But they did that so well. It was very funny.
I remember too, like one of the, I don't know, I guess it's called it's like a play set, I guess, but like it was like these like repealable stickers, like it would be like a
color forms
background. Maybe is that what it is called? Like it's like a background of something.
I know.
And then you would
exactly what you're talking
and you would
about.
take it'd be a different set. I had like a wrestling one. You would like peel the sticker, and then you would put it on there, and then you would peel it back off. And they always got gross and brown and like cruddy.
They started to curl.
Yes.
Started to curl, and
yeah.
You sit there trying to wash it. Or,
Yeah, exactly.
They did a comic book. They did a Superman comic book, and the cover were those stickers, and you could put the characters wherever you wanted.
Cool,
yeah, until all the stickers fall off, and now you have this blank ass stupid cover.
Right. No, I know. I remember. I had those, but I had those for like a Spider-Man. I think it was a Spider-Man set that had those, and you stick them here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're right. The corners would peel.
Yeah.
And then you get dirty, and you're like, what do I do with this?
Do you guys have any toys like you wish you got as kids, but you never got? You know?
Yeah, like the one missing Green Ranger and Dragonzord.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I've spoken about this. I won't go down this rabbit hole again. But it's the one toy I never got that I always wanted.
I always wanted the Ninja Turtles. I don't know if you remember when the movies came out. They came out with the movie versions of them. And they were like rubber. They looked. And now I don't want them. But like then it was like
I tried.
They looked just like the movie characters, and they made like a rubber instead.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Yeah.
I wanted them so bad and never got them. And I think it was because I was also at that point where it's like I was going into middle school. It wasn't as cool to play with toys, but I still wanted them. And I had a small window to get them, and
it's funny how that works out, right?
Yeah.
You're going into middle school, and you're like, I'm too old for toys. Now we're going into our 40s, and we're like, I want all these toys.
It was just, and like I had a small window to get them, and then it just I didn't get them, and even that was always like the Ninja Turtle toy I always wanted, but unfortunately
here we go again.
I think one of mine would be
Someone's coming to the door. We're open at 12.
I think it was called Sky Commanders or Sky Commandos, basically. But it was back to your Spider-Man. It was like these guys. It was all about rope. Like you had strings. Is this Sky Commanders? Anybody remember this? No. Yeah. Anyway, you had like rope from here to there, there to there, right. And the whole play set idea was that you'd put these vehicles on these ropes, and they would go side by side around the whole house. And I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. But my mom was like, "You're not fucking hanging the rope all over the house and playing your toys." No,
exactly.
No. So that was one of mine. If it even was worth it, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah. I always wanted the Jurassic Park toys, but I was like kind of the same realm as you. I was like getting too old to get like toys.
I wasn't too old for Jurassic Park toys.
So I
had the whole set. The park, the command center.
Yeah, I was one of those.
There was a set that had. Now you're talking about them. I didn't have them either, and maybe because of my brothers. I get I get everything conflated, and I try to think back. But I had the big Tyrannosaurus Rex that had
the chunk that came out.
Yeah, but I think there was a line of dinosaurs that had like weapons.
Yes,
but they weren't Jurassic Park.
No, that was a whole other TV show.
Yeah.
I
know what you're talking about.
But I remember having.
My first thing I thought it was Dino Saucers, but that was a completely Dino Saucers was.
See now I'm
where they were they came from like they were alien dinosaurs that came in a spaceship and they fought us to fight
like a
the evil
Stegosaurus
dinosaurs.
that had like armor.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. And now that Dinosaurs theme song's in my head. Remember? Dinosaurs.
No. So now I gotta look this up. This is gonna be one of those.
But I do remember those toys, the weaponized dinosaurs.
I do. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I wish I.
I'm thinking about the Jurassic Park like you mentioned. Like I don't think that was because I think you're younger than me. I don't think I was. I think I was in like elementary school when the first Jurassic Park came out. I remember. I think my little brother ended up getting. I think
Dino Riders.
Dino Riders.
The Velociraptor, and I think he ended up getting the T-Rex. I remember that. Because I remember when I was little, when I was really into that Godzilla toy, like, there was no other monsters for him to fight. I was lucky just to get that.
Right.
So I would fight my brother's, not the Jurassic Park T-Rex, but, like, his T-Rexes or other giant, other than dinosaurs. This is what you could get him to fight.
Well, I was always big into dinosaurs. The idea of dinosaurs, I thought as a kid was the coolest. So the Jurassic Park toys, regular dinosaur toys. I had dinosaur books. I love dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Dino Riders. This is it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna go back on the Dino Riders.
See, now she said, "When am I gonna stop?" Now I have to stop to get one of the dinos. I also had the dinosaur where you would pull it back the leg and. Right? Those are the only two I remember from Jurassic Park. Those are the only two.
Yeah, I think other things in the 90s that were big was I had like a Jurassic Park shirt. It had like you could press a button.
Yes.
And it would like roar. That was big in the 90s. A lot of things like made sound effects.
Yeah.
Everything had a sound effects. Like those those books, I think they still make it for kids. It'd be like a book, but on the side had a panel.
Yes.
And every time it was like a picture you would
push the button.
Right. There's like a bunch of Disney ones, of course, and then like.
But then you go back, you just forget about the sound. But like, what was it? The Silly Putty.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Didn't do a damn thing.
Right.
But you'd sit there, your newspaper and just sit there.
That was amazing.
If I gave that to anybody now and be like, here, have fun, they'd be like, what am I doing with this?
Well, if you gave it to a kid, if you gave it to us, we'd sit there and get a newspaper.
We'd sit there, right? Exactly. We'd have to find the newspaper. But it was the opposite end of the spectrum.
But gentlemen, fantastic, and Mark, I really. Look forward to the rest of your journey.
Absolutely.
And we got to have you guys back on.
Yeah.
And Alex, your knowledge of Godzilla from the last episode and just you reminiscing about your old toys was great.
Let's go back to like the video games. Let's do a Sega Genesis versus Nintendo.
I think we need to do a board. We need to do a board game episode.
Yeah.
We should do a board game where we talk about our favorite board games and then play it as the episode.
Yeah.
All right.
Stratego.
All right.
I whip all your ass in Stratego. I gotta remember how to play.
Dude, wait till we get Candy Land out here, man.
All right.
You're gonna be going down that slide from the back to the beginning the whole time, man.
You bust out the Wacky Doctor game. Operation.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Or like, you know what I want? Monster Mash? Remember Monster Mash?
Yeah.
I had to have the 3 to...
Yeah.
You're looking at me like I'm crazy.
I remember
you had like the stick, and you had to like stop it and you build a monster.
That one I don't
Right.
remember. I remember, was it Mousetrap?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mousetrap.
It took an hour to set up the Mousetrap and 20 minutes.
That was just a game. It wasn't even a game. That was just basically a toy.
That was
5 minutes
busy.
to play the
that
game.
was your parents trying to keep you busy.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like Don't Break the Ice.
Yeah.
Another one. All right, so
No,
we
I never
will
played that.
then we will have you guys back on for sure.
Awesome,
For
man. Thanks
video
for having
games
us.
and board game episodes. Again, check out Alex's Instagram, Campos Arts. He'll hopefully be putting some information up about his new children's book he's trying to get off the ground. And we'll have Marco back on in the future where he can update us on his toy collection.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Great.
All right,
All
thanks
right,
for having
thank
us,
you
guys.
both. Yeah,
Always fun.
great.
Yep. Same time, same table.
Have a good one.
Boys and girls, lunchtime is over. For more information, visit their website at coolkidslunchtable.podbean.com. Follow the boys on all social media platforms. Just search Cool Kids Lunch Table Podcast. Now get to class before you get detention.